Hey guys, today I will be making Steven Universe for you out of craft supplies you can probably find around your house. Without further ado, let's watch the video. For the base of the doll, I use a pipe cleaner and bend it into the 2.5 inch doll base. Right here I am using a ruler I got in a very cheap school supplies set. Usually I do not use this ruler as the end is rounded and it's not the best for bending pipe cleaners at. So as you can see, I just use it to get the measurements and then bend it with my hand. Next I use this DMC floss 945 to wrap the entire body. I start with the left leg, working my way down the length of the pipe cleaner to wrap the little bit that will become the doll's toes. I am super excited for the Steven Universe movie to come out sometime this year. I have seen all of the trailers. Have you guys seen the trailers? Let me know in the comments below. Next, I use a pair of jewelry pliers to make sure that the toes are close enough together to get a good foot shape. And now I'm wrapping the base of the foot. Now I'm cutting a pipe cleaner in half and using it to make the leg a little larger. If I didn't do this, they would literally look like sticks. And nobody wants sticky legs. And here I am finishing wrapping the leg. Here I noticed that there's a little piece of the pipe cleaner sticking out, so I just use those jewelry pliers again and tuck that away, and then wrap it with a little bit more of the floss to tuck it out of sight. And there's the first leg. And there are Steven's chunky little legs. Next, I make the doll's thumbs. I use a piece of 24 gauge jewelry wire and then bend it into little U shapes, not unlike the legs and hands begin as. There's the two thumbs, and then I use a little bit of glue to glue the DMC floss, and then I wrap it just like I did the toes. And there's our first thumb. There, I position it just a tiny bit before the end of the bend in the pipe cleaner, and I twist it in place. I twist it in place. And there is the second thumb. Next, I wrap the arms the exact same way that I wrapped the feet. And there's the first arm. And the second one. Next, I use another pipe cleaner to add more chunk to the body. And there's the finished body. Next, I am using this 8mm wooden bead with the hole to make to use it as the base of the head. And this is some Crayola air dry clay in white that I'll be using to make the actual shape. First, I take a little bit of the clay to make the jaw. And using my fingers and the water cup, you see, to smooth it out as much as I can. There's the profile, or at least what I thought the profile was going to be. I end up adding quite a bit of clay to the sides of the jaw to give it that round face shape that Steven has. There's his cute little round nose. After this, the clay wasn't sticking very well anymore, so I let it dry before continuing on with his ears and adding the jaw shapes I mentioned earlier. The finishing detail for this head is using a very fine-grained sandpaper. It is grain 120 to smooth out all the little bumps and fingerprints that I may have left on the head. And there's the base. Next, I used Beachcomber Beige and Bright Red in this apple barrel acrylic color. I just used the cheapest ones I could find at Walmart. I tend to like to mix my colors so it matches the body exactly. Usually it's very difficult to find the exact color you're looking for. Here is the first coat, which was a little too pink, I realized. So then I ended up mixing one with a little more of the beige in it, and it ended up being the perfect color for the body. Next, I add a coat of matte varnish that I picked up at the local craft store. Now I just pencil in the details for his face and go in with more of those cheap acrylics. First, I put down the whites of his eyes. And next, I go in with an almost black brown for his irises. I also add pupils, but the brown itself is so black that you could barely tell. Here I am adding the irises that you cannot see. And then while I was waiting for the irises to dry, I go in, not the irises, the pupils! While I was waiting for the pupils to dry, I go ahead and add in his eyebrows. I clean up the edges of the eyebrows by adding a little bit more of that skin color. Next, I add in a block of white for his traditional cartoony grin. While I wait for the mouth to dry, I go ahead and add the catch lights. They will be star-shaped just like they are in the cartoon. Lastly, for his face, I outline his mouth and add tooth gaps. Teeth gaps? Tooth gaps? After the final coat of varnish, here's his face. For his hair, all I did was cut lengths of yarn and separate them so they were each individual strands. I did this so that his hair would have the wavy, afro-y effect I was looking for. I do this with a bunch of strands and then fold up a couple of them. Here is all the hair glued on his head. Next, I glue on his gemstone. Boop! There's the finished body. Check it out. After trimming his hair, I decide Steven needs some clothes. So I take one of my little patterns and cut out his t-shirt. Next, I hem it by using some more of my favorite tacky glue and turning over a teeny tiny hem. Then I paint the star. Next are his shorts. Again, I use a pattern and cut it out of some very thin denim I found at the craft store. Next, I sew on all the little pant details, 2 pockets and the zipper and the button. Next, I sew the pants together. I also frayed the ends of the shorts because I thought it would give it a cute cut-off effect. I know Steven doesn't have that in the cartoon, but I thought it'd be very cute to add to this doll. Now it is time to sew the t-shirt. I just sew these clothes directly onto the body because he is so small, it'd be very difficult to make removable clothing. There are the completed clothes. Oh, so cute. Last but not least, Steven needs his classic flip-flops. So I take a piece of red craft foam with a sticky back and stick his shoes right on his feet. Then, using these tiny scissors, I trim those flip-flops to fit his feet. Then, using a bit of the DMC floss that I used to sew the shirt, I add the flip-flop straps. Last but not least, using more of the tacky glue, I glue Steven's head onto his body. Thank you for watching my video. I will be posting the last Saturday of every month, so stay tuned. Here is a teaser for next month's doll. If you can guess who it is, let me know in the comments below. If you want to support me, like, comment, and subscribe. Later, skater!